I'm Lena Banks, certified financial planning professional and small business coach, coming to you with this week's episode of Financial Therapy. I'm excited to get real people talking about how we can all be more secure and confident in our financial decision making. So thanks for joining me this week. Before we get started, I need to ask you, if you've been enjoying the show, please like, subscribe, give us a review wherever you're listening or watching. Really appreciate that. Let's get on with the show for today. Today's episode is a good one. It's a good one. Make your money work for you. And, a lot of people, I think, are, they've heard this term of making your money work for you. What does that really even mean? How do you do it? How does it happen? I want to emphasize that it's not just about picking really good stocks, playing the market, investing in some sort of something that's just going to be a huge windfall for you. That's not really making your money work for you. That is lucky. Some people are luckier than others. Some people are pretty good at timing the market, but many people are not. Many people don't pay close enough attention. And even if you do, it's easy to pick a loser or two, and that can wipe out your gains. So how do you actually make your money work for you? How do you guarantee that what you are doing with your dollars is actually going to earn you money instead of being either a burden or kind of your flat? So here are some things that I've been thinking about that I have coached on a lot, but I think they're important concepts, and so we're going to cover a few things today that hopefully will help you think about how you can start making your money work better for you. And the first thing is spending versus earning. And I think that's really important. It sounds very basic, spending versus earning. I know the difference. Got it. But if I were to say that for many people, a house is not an asset, it is not a good investment, what would you say? I think that's a counterintuitive idea for a lot of people, especially in America. That's the American dream, to own a house. You're going to have a house. It's going to increase in value. It's going to be wonderful. But houses are not always assets. And that's because sometimes you are spending way more on that house in the form of your mortgage, but also taxes, maintenance, potentially if the actual housing market goes down and your home value goes down, you're paying into some level of inflationary consequences. All of those things are spending your money, not earning it. And so if you're buying a house, you should be buying a house because that's your goal. You want to have a home, you want to own something, and you are willing to invest your money in that sort of situation. But if you want your house to be an asset that is earning you money, so therefore your money is working for you, you've got to get that house working for you. You have to figure out a way that house actually puts money in your pocket, not taking it out. So not spending it, but earning it. And that's a really, really tough thing to do, to be honest. Unless you have some level of ability to rent a room, rent part of your space, to have a business or some sort of business activity happening on your property, it's likely not going to be an asset that earns you money. It's not going to be something that works for you. All that said, not saying that you shouldn't buy a house, not saying that shouldn't be a dream of yours, but it is very important to understand that the interest, the taxes, the fees, the maintenance costs, all of those things are opportunity costs for spending those dollars investing somewhere else and having that money actually earning you money instead of you spending it. So that idea, that concept is very clear in some spaces, some aspects, spending versus earning, but that's just one example of how our mindset tells us, oh, this is an asset, this is an investment, and it might be an asset on your net worth. It's a contributing factor to your net worth because it's worth more than you actually paid for it or than you actually owe on that asset. And so it goes in the asset column, absolutely. But it is not an example of your money working for you. So just understand that anytime you make an investment like that, if you don't have a plan for how you're going to earn from that investment, then it's actually more of a liability. It's a spend more than it is earning. Okay? The second thing is saving versus investing. If you're saving money, you're not putting money to work. If you're investing your money, that means you're earning a return. That's what I would consider investing. If you're saving money, that's excellent, but unless you're saving it at an interest rate that's higher than inflation, you're actually just standing still and you're probably moving backwards because inflation is eating at the spending power, the actual ability of those dollars to buy you something out there in the world. So if you have $1 and you're earning 1% interest, after a year you've got $1.01, but inflation was 3%, then really you've gone backwards because that dollar should be $1.03 in order to keep standing still. So that's the conversation that you need to be having with yourself when you are saving money, is to be sure you're actually investing money and you're earning more than inflationary costs or anything like that. And speaking of inflation, my last little verses is interest versus inflation, management fees, lifestyle creep. We talked about lifestyle creep in a previous episode. All of those things make your money have to work much harder. So interest versus all of those fees and other things that drain your dollars is very important. So when you are looking at ways to invest and not just save your money, you want to look at areas where you're going to be earning compound interest, some level of expanded interest on those funds. It's very difficult to do much in a traditional savings account. So you can find a high interest, high yield savings account, and that'll at least push you beyond inflation most times. But the real goal is to have that interest continuing to compound and continuing to work for you. And that means you are probably going to need to take some risks. But in taking those risks, you got to keep an eye out for all the things that are going to eat away at that interest. So, as I said, inflation, usually around 2 or 3% annually. Management fees, if you ask somebody to manage your money, that's 1% usually of what you're earning. Lifestyle creep, that sort of situation can add another couple of percentage points to what you actually are pulling out of those dollars. All of those things can eat away at what you're actually earning. So let's say you find a really awesome investment that pays you 12% interest, but you've got all of these other things to contend with. Maybe your actual earning on those dollars is only 8% or 7% interest. And that's not a bad thing. That's fantastic. But you need to look for that level of balancing and make sure that you're covering all of your costs of inflation and all of those fees with the interest that you're earning. So this was a super short episode. I wanted to cover some ways or some things that you need to think about in order to actually make your money work for you. And that's spending versus earning. First thing, understand what the difference is between an actual asset that has earning power versus an asset that you're actually just spending on. The second thing is to question saving versus investing, because if you're just saving dollars, you're actually moving backwards. And the final thing is interest versus all of the other costs. You have to make sure that even if something is earning you some good interest, that it's not being undercut significantly through all of the other fees that it might take you to get that interest earned. So all of this said, this is about mindfulness. This is about making the best decisions. And it really is quite simple when you start thinking about these things in this kind of way. If you aren't using your money and putting it in a place where it earns you a significant amount of interest, even if you're taking a little more risk, you could run the risk of, and in fact, inflation risk, of getting that interest eaten up by other aspects of your financial life. Whether that is not having enough cash flow from investments that you've made in assets to put away, whether that's putting it away and saving it instead of truly investing it, or whether that's investing it and earning some interest, some good interest, but having that be undercut by all of the other ways that you're siphoning off those percentage points one at a time. So I hope this helps you guys think a little bit more about how to actually make your money work for you. I'll be back next week with another episode.